Hey guys, it's KJ with Forward Life Coaching and also Beyond My Expectations. And I'm here with our two Beyond My Expectations interns, George and Ethan. And we are talking about, yesterday we did a IG live, right? Instagram live. Notice that I used the IG. That was pretty cool, right? IG.
Yeah,
Yeah,
little hip,
keeping it
little
hip.
hip, yeah. Keeping it
And
young with the kids.
and then today we tried to do the HBO live. I mean, not HBO, Facebook Live, but I realized there's another streaming component that we need to add on. So we'll do that for future conversations. But for today, we're just gonna do a Zoom, and then we'll transfer it into a YouTube, and then we'll work it back and all the other kind of stuff. So what I wanted to do was, before the interview tonight with Marcus Boyd, the autism activist, and award-winning, multi-award-winning recording artist. Before the interview tonight, I wanted to talk a little bit more about like teams and incorporation of different people, different skills, et cetera, because one of the things that Marcus was saying is that he really misses that opportunity to have, be a part of a team inclusion. You remember his story about being a water boy on the football team?
Yes, and how he had to run too. He had to run like everybody else did. That that was a great story by Marcus.
He was so proud about like being included,
hmm
and having
hmm
that opportunity for inclusion and practice. And I mean, what do you guys think? Has there ever been a time when you've been a part of a team and, inclusion was everything? I mean, maybe you weren't there initially, but the opportunity to practice and get it there.
Yeah, with football, there's a lot of that sense right there of it just including everyone, no matter your skill level. We have basically like when you have the starter group and then you have like the secondary group or maybe the third string, depending on how much depth you have in your roster. There's always that group that you have that you can look at the starters and be like, all right, that's where I need to be. And then you can look at your group and was like, well, here's what we need to do to basically move and progress on. But you're also with your own like skill level. So let's say you're not, let's say you're like a freshman moving up. You might not be the best at the time, but you're like with a group that you can build with and grow with. And soon, when you become seniors like me, I'm playing with the same people that I was in the same group with when I was a freshman moving up from varsity. So I think including everybody and making sure that everyone gets in the drill, make sure that everyone knows their assignment on the field, and just basically bringing them together, no matter how they feel about their skill level, is important in football.
Yeah,
What
and for
about you?
Taekwondo, I really like it's a very individualized sport, so you don't like have that too much in like the main bit. But for my demonstration team, when I was first introduced, I didn't really know anyone on the team. The teams are still pretty small. We've got about 14 members total. At the time, we had closer to 20, but I didn't know a good half of the people on the team because I was still really young, and a majority of the people were older than me. So I didn't really I didn't hang out with them. I didn't really know them, but there were the leaders on the team helped to like bring everyone together. We would have like team bonding exercises and stuff like that. And we would just focus on making sure that we were like a family as well, not just a team. We didn't just come together to practice. We came together to hang out and have fun as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So guys know that I teach in the average autism or class for individuals with autism can be 8 to 10 persons. So when you say 14 people, that's still, I mean, I'm talking about autism in, solely, I can't even think of the name right now. But when you're talking about solely kids with autism, it can be 8 to 10 people in a classroom. So 14 is not too far off. And when you were doing this with your colleagues, with your friends, with your new associates, what was the regiment like? Tell me a little bit about how you're moving forward and advancing.
So for our group, let me just start off with like my group that I was in personally. So when I got moved up to varsity, I was in a group that I was in like the second or third string group, which is not the starter group, but it's like the building group. Like you're learning exactly how to get better, and you're just learning
There's
how like the
levels to it.
mechanics. Yeah. You can't just become a first string out of nowhere. You got to start from the bottom. Got to work your way up. So I started from the third string group, and with that, we were just taught the basics, the little things, and we just kept doing that every single day. And so eventually
Fundamentals.
that gets, yeah, we were just getting the fundamentals down, so that eventually the fundamentals were just, it was just something that would come naturally to us. So we would just automatically do it without thinking. So then that after you get that done, you can move up to the secondaries where you get a little bit more playing time, you get a little bit more get a little reps in. So then you get live reps. So then you just keep getting those live reps in, trying to build yourself up, trying to, work different moves, just getting off the ball quickly, doing that every single day, making sure that we practice it the correct way. And then when you're in the starter group, which is just me this year, I basically know all the fundamentals and everything that my coaches taught me. And I'm just putting everything together and trying to become the best player I can be. So it's not like I've already reached the max. I just know all the fundamentals and all the little things. Therefore, I'm putting it together and figuring out how to use it on the field. And then I do that every single day at practice so that when the game time comes, I'm not trying to think of new moves to do. I'm not trying to guess what the opponent is doing. I know exactly how to react to what I've learned. And I know how to just basically go against it and then work around it.
It gives you agility.
Yes.
Right. So you have more
agility and
options.
all the yeah. It's not just one move, and I'm not just going out there using the same move every time, having them stop me. But instead, I'm using different moves. I'm getting them confused. I know exactly what play they're running based on their way they lined up, stuff like that.
For Taekwondo, it's a little different because it's kind of interesting because I like being able to hear and how, like for football and for George, you got to go through the fundamentals each step because there might be people that are like new to the sport. There might be people who don't understand certain things. So just being able to build up is good. For Taekwondo, for the demo team that we have particularly, is kind of different because everyone that's on the demo team is already a black belt. So they already like have all the fundamental and the basic, like the foundations of what they like have learned over the past however much time. So everyone that's on the team already has like the skill to be like on the team. We're known as like the higher, like not higher tier, but like we're like masters almost. Like we're known for being good at what we do. So a majority of what we've done to like a majority of what we do as a team initially, like when we have new members, for example, we'll do icebreakers. Like currently the past few practices, 2 or 3 practices, we've been doing icebreaker questions and just group activities as a team at our meets. We haven't been focusing too much on the demo aspects as much as we normally would because we just recently got 3 new members. So it's good to integrate them and make sure that they're comfortable because, as a demo team, if you're performing together, whether it's doing forms, you're doing fight scenes or breaking boards, you got to be able to trust each other. There's a baseline of trust that everyone needs to have with one another for us to work coherently as a team. So that's what we focus on building up first on the team for new player or for new members.
The social part. The social part.
Yeah, making sure everyone's comfortable with each other, we know each other, and that everyone trusts one another. Because that's like one of the most important things when you're performing demonstrations.
Wow. Have you ever worked with somebody you didn't trust?
Yeah, has there ever been a mistake?
There have been mistakes, but not because we haven't trusted anyone. That's just because we might have accidentally just messed something up. Like one of the best demos that I've ever participated in included a fight scene between me and 2 other people. And what me and the other one person did was I would try and sweep kick his legs, and he would do a backflip over me, like backflip over the kick. And there would be some
like
times,
the original Kung Fu.
Yeah, right.
Kung Fu.
And there were some occasions where he would accidentally like misplace his footing when landing the backflip and like mess up the landing. But there hasn't been any, like we don't do anything too out of the box where people could get injured. So we make sure because everyone also has practiced a lot of what they're doing. So it's generally really safe.
So the bottom line is no matter how good you are, you always need to continue practicing to get better and to get more concise, whether you practice socially or physically. Do you know what I mean? Whether you engage socially and learn things, because realistically,
exactly.
Realistically, let me ask you something, because you guys know that today is a bad day for me, but everybody's not always on. So even though you know somebody socially, they might have that day where they're out there on the field and it's not like one of their happy days.
Yeah, something's off and you're not sure why. So you gotta.
I do a lot of that on the field as well. A lot of people, since we go, I don't know about Ethan, but since we go from school, all day of work, we're waking up early in the morning just to get to school. We might not have the best sleep, and then we get on the field. Not everybody is in the mood to practice, but you have to learn how to talk to those certain people a certain way to get them motivated. For example, one of my friends was just like really tired. He didn't want to be there. So then I just challenged him to just give his best at least one time every other play. And then I was like, all right, since you're giving your best every other play, how about you do it every play now? Like how about you just step up? How about you tell your teammate beside you, so what they can do to help you, so that you're not carrying the whole line. And then it got to the point where he went from a bad mood to a great mood and was given 100% of that whole practice, just because I had a little talk with him on the side to, because I didn't want him to not get better that day. You always, when we're on the field, the goal is to always, get better and to always, move up instead of just staying at the same point every time.
And as Ethan said, no matter where you are, you can always grow and you can always improve,
Yeah.
because there's levels. There's levels. Nobody's the same exact way or has the same exact process every single day. So is there a way that you can kind of practice in a group? Like, let's say there's one technique or one thing that you're missing. I mean, do you ever need to, now that you guys are both gurus and you're both a Mac Daddy in football and in Taekwondo, do you still have times when there are like little things that you need to work on the side?
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
This is really shown. Like I see this a lot in Taekwondo, specifically for people training to become instructors, because there are a lot of younger people that are also training to become instructors. I'm talking about young teens, like 14-year-olds and to become an instructor, you basically have to know every single form up to your belt. So starting from white belt, white, yellow, orange, green, purple, blue, like all the way up to whatever black belt you are. And each black belt has a different form, or like a majority of them do. So having to remember every single form, it can cause a lot of like, you got to be able to remember a lot, right? So you got to be able to remember and practice a ton of different forms, and then make sure that you are able to know the names of the forms. And I see a lot of the time that more senior instructors are helping out a lot with that, because there's always going to be someone that knows more than you. So it's never like bad to ask for help. It's always good to get the help you need. And this is also shown in the demos, because there are non-instructors, so people that haven't like tried to learn every form, that have to do forms that aren't theirs. So it's good to have the different levels of skill help to teach people what they don't know or need to relearn.
And on the field, it's just those different levels and stuff. They just help you come together automatically. It just helps you become a family in the end.
So you feel like you got family?
Yeah. My football team is a giant family. That's what it is. I like to go there sometimes. Like if I'm having a bad day, I just text one of my football friends, and they'll say a funny joke or something, or they'll help me out if I need it. And as my coach has said multiple times, you could graduate, go to college, and if you need a job, or if you need some help, or if you need anything, he'll still come and contact with you and just help you out with whatever you need. And I think that's just the importance
Wait,
of just.
wait, what's his name? Because
Oh, Coach Johnson. Yes, we've interviewed him before. Coach Johnson. He's a great guy. He not only does he want to teach us how to play football and how to be a great football player, but also a great teammate and a great person in general. Because like he says, like we've always talked about, we might not always make it to the NFL, but there's also other fields in life that you can go through, and you need to know exactly how to not only be a good football player, but a good man, a good teammate, a good wife. A good husband, a good wife. All those different types of things. You have to learn how to just be a person in society and not only just football.
Right. And learn how to navigate through things.
Yes.
So one of the things that one of the reasons why I mentioned the team, because I was reading an article, and no, I'm sorry, I was interviewing someone. I was talking to them, and they were telling me about how stressful it was to be away from the team. Like when the game is over, when the ball stops bouncing, when you stop throwing the ball and you can no longer play on the team, right? The organized team. There's a very high rate of depression and other mental health issues as a result of not being on the team, right?
Yeah, I can attest to that. Especially because when I wasn't playing football and it was the pandemic season, I don't know why, but it was just I just felt kind of alone because I had no. I usually football comes around every year, and even though I used to not really like football, I used to like the team aspect a lot. I used to like to feel like closer to a group of people that I knew were all having the same goal, to win and to just be a family. And when we that COVID season when we couldn't play football, it was just sad in general because like it just being out there with a group of people, a group of like I said, family who just give their all for each other and just play, and we go through the same troubles. Like if we do like a bunch of conditioning that day, we're building a bond as we're going through it because we all went through that conditioning. We all felt how bad it was, but we're all giving our all for each other. So we're gonna keep pushing and keep getting through it. So it's just without football, like when football ends for me, I don't know if it's gonna end for me entirely after this year, but if it does, I will have to find a different maybe like an intramural sport to do or something just to get physical and just to build another bond because I think going through those tough times with a group of people that went through it with you is how you build a good bond, a good strong connection to each other.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even though that me and I know other people on my team, we haven't gone through the exact same experiences. There's one thing that brings us together, and that's Taekwondo and being on the team together, and just having that one like passion that everyone has helps bring everyone together, makes it a lot easier to like be with one another. Getting to know each other, it helps a lot. And for COVID season, I've known some of the people on my Taekwondo team and just at the school for years, but like we only see each other through Taekwondo. So being apart from each other for a while can suck, but coming back to the Taekwondo, to the school and to the demo team once everything started like mellowing out a bit and being able to perform demos and stuff felt really good. It's really nice being able to see everyone again. And it was just a breath of fresh air from like the months and months that we'd been apart. And
So
I don't remember.
when you talk about this and being a part, one of the things that I think about is think about before you were playing, right? Before you were doing Taekwondo, before you were playing football. How did it feel looking through that window of, I hope I can join, or I hope I can be there? You know what I mean?
hmm
Does that make
So
any sense?
yeah. For me, football was just like before I played football, I had known as a kid that I always wanted to play football because of just how aggressive it was, how much of a team. Like I've always been about like teamwork and just building bonds and building friendships. And I thought it would be a great opportunity just to be there. And when I was in sixth grade, I was like 1 year away from being able to just be on the team, and I kept hearing all these things about how how difficult it was, but how much fun it was. What coach made me do today, what coach said about this guy, and it was just all. It was always with a smile, and it was never like they were never like putting down each other. And if they did like put down, it was to build them up. Like they wouldn't just sit there and say, "Oh, you suck." They would be like, "No, you may not be good at this, but here's how you can get better, and here's what you need to do to succeed in the end." There was always a sense of trying to build each other up. And once I heard about that, when I was in sixth grade, I just knew that I wanted to play football just because I could just be part of a group that wants me to succeed and wants
Right.
me to
And
get better.
who doesn't want to build up?
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
doesn't want I mean, Ethan
Yeah,
doesn't want anybody to build him up because he's already the guru.
yeah. Ethan's already a black belt. He wouldn't need anybody to build him up.
but everybody else does. So, I think about that along the lines of like, just inclusion and how many people are looking on the outside, just
Mhm.
wanting an opportunity to get in, you know?
Yeah.
And if there were steps or platforms to help them build, like you said with the teams, the third string, they have a platform that they use to build to get stronger to be on the second team and then the first team and like the black belts, I don't think the
Mhm.
black belts and the yellow belts and the green belts and the orange belts all practice together, or do they?
It depends actually. So for the adult classes, every rank practices in one class, but for
Oh, wait,
the
so I could be a fake black belt? Wait a minute.
unfortunately,
I go get the black
unfortunately,
belt,
it's
put
not
my
that
jeans and put
easy.
it on. I like
She
it.
found an
Keep going,
opportunity.
keep going.
Yeah, there's your opportunity. But For the junior classes, it's usually kids 13 and younger. That those classes are split up by belts. So it'll be like 2 to 4 belts in each class. It'll be like white, yellow, orange. Then it'll be like green, purple, blue, and then it'll be like brown, red, and black. And then the adult classes is just every belt is in the same class.
Cool. But there is still the opportunity to be at different levels, work with people of the same skill set.
Like if you're an orange belt, that's when you first start sparring. You don't spar until you're an orange belt. There will be times where they'll place you against like a black belt, but the black belt's not gonna fight against you the same way they would fight against another black belt, because they want to help you. Like, even though they're also students, they want to help other students grow. So we've been told, if you're fighting someone that's like there's a big rank difference, that you're not. It sounds bad to say hold back, but you're not supposed to go all out as if you're fighting someone your rank, because they're still trying to learn. They're trying to get the ropes of it, especially if it was an orange belt. You don't want to make it so that they don't enjoy it, or you don't want to push them away. Like, if they have one really bad sparring match where you might like injure them by mistake, then that's going to leave a taint on it, and it can change their perception on if they want to continue or not.
Right. And so when I go to spar when I'm an orange belt and I go to spar with the black belt, I'm going to be very nice to them at the social.
Yeah.
You want
Gonna keep them on your good side.
What do you want? I'm going to get it before we spar. I don't want you to forget and bring back that black belt strip. Stay orange. Yeah. So
I do have a question for you though, Kelly, because we always talk about our fitness and our experience, but you're always not talking about your Zumba experience. How did a team, and basically because I know not everybody might not be comfortable with dancing, they think it's a lot of conditioning maybe. So how does a team help them get through those 3-minute long sessions, because I can feel like there is a lot of movement, a lot of stuff that you might not know, you might not feel comfortable. So how did a team and a group help them just feel comfortable and feel welcome there?
Well, one thing is Zumba is a big class, so usually there's a lot of people there, so you can kind of hide if you don't know how to do it perfectly like you do on the team. But what I do is I show modified versions, like I show it in a slower version or a slower tempo. I demo it before we start. I check, so I walk around the classroom to make sure that people are doing it properly, but I also check on breathing, because some people are so into it until they forget to just inhale and exhale. So just little things. But what I try to do is I try to make sure, once again, people have options, so that they they can do it at a high level if they want, they can do it at a low level if they want. I will actually take a lot of time to do it at a lower level, to make sure that people who are doing it at a lower level feel comfortable, right? And the people who are doing it at a higher level, they just know what they're doing, so they're going to do it anyway. Like, it doesn't make a difference. I don't need to. I mean, I might need to do 1 or 2 moves to show them I still got it. But for the most part,
you don't want them taking your spot.
Yeah, that's right. But for the most part, I try to keep it at a lower level to make sure that other people are engaged. Lots of humor, lots of laughter, lots of pats on the back, like, keep going. And once again, like I said, just making sure that we isolate those certain parts that may be a gap, because usually it's not that people can't do a routine. It's usually one segment of a routine that's difficult. And if we can walk through that and we can encourage them, you should see like just how good they feel. Do you know what I mean? They feel like really, really good, because they've learned how to do something that was a little bit more technical or a little bit more difficult in the beginning. So
that's great. That's great to hear, because I don't hear a lot about Zumba, because I mean, my mom and my grandma do a lot of Zumba, but I never hear them talk about how it felt, the breathing especially, because I know that that's important, because you're doing all the moves, you're dancing around all the time, you don't want to be out of breath. That's an important thing right there, because I know playing football, you do need to focus on your breathing a lot, because you're doing short bursts a lot. So you have to make sure that you're not just going out there breathing any type of way, just I know the importance of the breathing aspect, and I think it's very important that we highlight what Zumba is. It's not just dance, it's more, it's more of a group thing, and you feel good about what you're doing out there too. Practicing your moves out there. I know you got got little moves on you. I see you pulling it out every now and then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you still got it. You still got it. But do you think that being away from Zumba did you feel anything different? Because with football, of course I felt different, just not being able to play football and not being around the same group. But did you feel the same way when you were in Zumba?
Oh my gosh, yes. But I just want to say something. That was my daughter calling, and I was going to see if I could patch her in because she makes fun of me and calls me the Zumba queen all the time. Because when she was trying to teach me how to do a TikTok, and she said, "Ma, it's not
Yeah.
Zumba, it's TikTok, it's TikTok." So, but anyway, but Zumba actually is very comforting for me because that is how we dance in New Jersey. Like a lot of the places that I would go dance at had a Latin influence.
Mhm.
So it's more like it kind of helps, believe it or not, with like that homesickness. So when I
Yeah.
didn't have Zumba, or when I don't have Zumba, or when I find people who don't do Zumba the traditional way, because the traditional way, like, like 80% of your classes should have, I'm sorry, 70% of your classes should have some type of international field or some type of international music. And some people don't use that type of music when they're teaching Zumba classes. So it's harder for me, not
Mhm.
so much to catch on to the technicality and the moves, but it's kind of a disappointment because I was going for that quote unquote home experience. You know what I mean? If I'm going to someone else's class. Does that make any sense? Did I lose you guys?
Yeah.
Hello? All right.
Yeah.
I lost you guys for a second.
Yes, that does.
Okay.
No,
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 no.
no, no, no.
We're here. We're here. We can.
The screen froze. The screen froze. So
Okay.
so for me, when I am away from that quote unquote music, it's
Mhm.
it's a little bit more challenging for me. So it's, because it's home. But I will tell you this, I am that person that will sit at the traffic light and do my Zumba music and start Zumba dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
keep in
Keeping
street
it
mind, I have
life.
a
moving.
convertible, right? So I have a convertible and I'm in the car doing this, and they're like, what's going on? What's going on with this chick? So, but yeah, I always try to infuse that in different things because it is such an integral part of my, I guess, happiness.